Good morning, dear students. We are continuing with the chapter Air and Water. Today we are going to learn about some activities. Now let us begin with activity 1. We are taking 2 candles, light them and place them on a table. One candle is covered by inverting an empty glass or glass jar over it. Second candle is left uncovered. After a few minutes, we will notice that the covered candle stops burning, whereas the uncovered candle continues to burn. Now, why this happens? Now, let us find out the reason. This is because the covered candle uses the oxygen present inside the jar to burn. As soon as all the oxygen inside the jar is used up, the candle stops burning. On the other hand, the uncovered candle keeps getting oxygen from the air all around it and it continues to burn. This is the reason why one candle which is uncovered is burning and the candle which was covered stops burning because the supply of oxygen is stopped. And this activity shows that air has oxygen and oxygen helps in burning. Now let us do activity 2. Activity 2 talks about air occupies a space and exerts pressure. Now we know air is a matter. So when air is a matter means it occupies a space, it exerts pressure, it has mass and it can be expanded or excused. Now, air occupies a space and exerts mass. We'll show with this activity. A balloon is taken and air is blown into it. Now you can do also this experiment. Take a balloon and blow air into it. Does it become bigger? Of course, we all know it increases in size. The air you blew into it needs a space. So it inflates the balloon. Also, it pushes against the walls of the balloon to make it grow larger. Now, if you release the mouth of the balloon, it collapses. Means all the air which was inflated, blown inside the balloon comes out and balloon reduces in size. The air inside the balloon escapes. Therefore, it returns to its original shape. Blow the balloon again. Keep blowing it until it bursts. Now the question is, why does it burst? We all know the balloon bursts when it is given more air than the space which it can occupy. Means the elasticity of balloon, it has a limitation, and when it crosses the limitation of elasticity, the balloon bursts. Now come to activity 3. So we concluded from activity 2 that air occupies a space and it exerts pressure, and that's why the balloon bursts. Now come to activity 3. Activity 3 is talking about air has mass. We all know because air is a matter, so it has mass. Suspend a coat hanger from ceiling using a string. Now a string is used to tie 2 balloons and these balloons are blown up balloons. Attach one balloon to either side of the hanger. As you can see in the picture, red and green balloon, they are blown up first and they are hung with the hanger. The hanger should be horizontal. Horizontal means straight and parallel to the ground. Now prick one balloon with a pin. The hanger tilts towards the other balloon. This shows that the blown up balloon is heavier than the pricked balloon. Therefore, air has mass. The picture shows clearly that when both the balloons were blown up, then they were in horizontal place. But one balloon, when it was pricked, means all the air from the balloon escapes. So what happens? The other balloon dips down. It means the other balloon with air has a mass. So it dips down. So this third activity shows that air has mass. You can do also these 3 activities at home. In guidance with your parents, do these 3 activities and learn more about. Today we have done activity 1, 2 and 3. where we showed that air occupies a space, it exerts pressure, it has mass, and we also saw that oxygen is all around and it is required for burning. Now today we are going to do activity 4 and 5. Now activity 4 says, take a glass half filled with water, add a spoonful of sugar to it and mix it with a spoon. We'll see that the sugar disappears. It gets dissolved in water and makes it taste sweet. Therefore, we can say that sugar is soluble in water, and we can say that sugar is a soluble substance. Likewise, you must have experienced that when you put some Horlicks or Bonvita in your milk, sugar in milk, or you make put salt into water, they all dissolve. Means all these substances, they are soluble in water. Water being universal solvent dissolves these solids, and that's why water is known as universal solvent and these solids are known as soluble substances. Now we have activity 5, in which a half glass is filled with water. A quarter spoonful of mustard seeds are added into it and mixed well with spoon. The mustard seeds do not disappear. They settle down at the bottom of glass. They do not dissolve in water. Therefore, we can say that these mustard seeds are insoluble in water, and we can say that these mustard seeds are insoluble substances. Substances like these mustard seeds, then sand particles, oil, and many other things which do not dissolve in water are known as insoluble substances, and these substances do not get dissolved in water. We are doing activities 6 and 7 today. These activities are based on the removal of insoluble impurities in liquid. First activity. Activity 6. Fill half of a beaker with water. Mix some sand in it. Leave it undisturbed for 10 minutes. You can see here in a beaker, the sand is mixed in water and then it is left for 10 minutes. The sand will settle down at the bottom of the beaker. This process is called sedimentation, means settling down of the impurities which is insoluble. Insoluble impurities is known as sedimentation. Now, the sand is separated. How it is separated? From the water by pouring the clear water from top slowly into the another empty beaker. This process is known as decantation. You can see here the sand remains in the beaker. The clear water which was on the top is poured with the help of a glass rod into another beaker, and then we collect a clean water here. Now, this process is sedimentation and this is decantation. Now in sedimentation we can see sediment. What is sediment? Sediment means the insoluble solid components which settles down at the bottom is called sediment. Now you can see clear water, this clear liquid which is separated out from its suspension after sedimentation is called supernatant liquid. So this supernatant liquid is separated with the help of a glass rod into another beaker without disturbing the sediment, and we get a clear water. This is sedimentation and decantation. Now let us come to activity 7. Activity 7 is dealing with another purification method, purifying insoluble impurities from liquid. Now, a beaker filled with half water, sand is mixed into it, and a clean piece of cotton cloth is tied on the mouth of another beaker. Now this cloth acts as a filter paper. The water is poured slowly onto the cotton cloth. The sand gets collected on the cotton cloth and clean water gets collected in the beaker. We can see here this impure water mixed with insoluble impurities is poured slowly on a cotton cloth which is acting as filter, and clear water is collecting in the beaker, and sand or the impurities, insoluble impurities, get collected on the cloth. This is filtration method, filtering the insoluble impurities. This is all about activity 6 dealing with sedimentation and decantation, and activity 7 explaining you filtration. Thank you, children.